What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball. So today I actually want to talk about a character I don't get asked about a lot, but back in season 2 I got asked about this character all the time, and why wasn't I playing this character anymore? That character is Captain Ginyu. So this is a little bit of like a little history lesson, I guess, of what was going on with him a little bit, why I played him for so long too, because I played him for quite a while. I played him for like 7 or 8 months at big events. This is why I picked up and why I dropped Captain Ginyu. If you like the content I'm putting out on this channel, please leave a like on this video or subscribe to the channel. It really does help the channel grow, and I really do appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Okay, so this really is a story about characters and just where I was at in Dragon Ball FighterZ. So this goes back all the way to season 1, right when the game dropped. There was way less characters, and we have to go back to Evo 2018, the first Evo that had Dragon Ball. So at this time, I was playing 4 characters. I was playing Kid Buu, I was playing Cell, and at Summit at the time, I was playing Android 16, but I also was playing SSJ Goku. I actually picked up SSJ Goku 2 weeks before Evo 2018. It was like the first time I played him in months, but around that time, so Dogoro was playing this team, and he was doing really well. And I personally felt like I didn't understand the game at all. So what do I mean? It's like I knew how to play the game, and if I got my plan going, it was all good. And this team, which most people would call in the first year really stupid, actually when I was playing it, I was like, bro, I just don't feel comfortable playing this team. It's not like the characters are bad. At the time, they were all rated as top 2 characters. There was just no neutral, like, ever. Like, I just had to earn my hits, and once I got the hit, it was good, but it was really rough, and a really hard team for me to play personally. So after Evo, I think I got like, it wasn't a good placing for me at Evo. I was pretty sad about it. It was like 33rd or 25th. It was like one of those, not like an okay place, but not like a good placing for me. I knew, and everyone knew, that the patch was coming. Another patch was coming. In season 1, there were a few patches. In season 2, there were really only 2 patches for the whole year. One system change patch, and then 1 character patch that we had the whole year. But in season 1, we had like the Vegeta patch initially, and then there was a patch that patched like Android 16 and adult Gohan later down the line, and then there was the Evo patch, and then there was like the pre-Japan Saga patch. They patched the game several times, like 4 or 5 times in season 1. But the thing about the Evo patch was that it was the first big balance patch for the game. So I said, alright, Kid Buu, you're my friend. 16, you're my friend. Cell was kind of a friend, he was getting to friend status. But I was like, you know what, I'll let you guys rest. I played Kid Buu literally since the beta. I played 16 since like February, so like a really long time at that point. So I was like, let's just reset and just try something new. So we have to go back to Evo a little bit before we move on. There were 3 Japanese Ginyus who went, and Ginyu was like the secret weapon. And Ginyu was doing really well. Ginyu had come close to winning a few big Japanese events too, especially when Super Saiyan Vegeta wasn't nerfed, the assist I mean. And also he was really uncommon, and he was a setup character, so I was like, you know what, like, he plays differently than anything I've done in this game and other games, so why not give him a try? So this was the team I went with. This is a team that I copied. I did not come up with this team. I took this team from a Japanese player, Denpa, right? Tech monster, combo god. I got to keep playing 16, who I really liked and I thought I was really good with. I thought that 16 probably was my best character, probably a little bit better than my Kid Buu, and definitely better than myself. So I was like, why not keep him around, and then I'll have the Gotenks offense and the Ginyu offense as well for neutral. So this is what I was worried about at the time, and this is what I really enjoyed about playing Ginyu. So one is that he is an uncommon character. So this is a really big advantage to have in competitions. Uncommon characters are just harder to fight. Like, you don't know what they're doing, you don't know what's real, what's not. So if someone is just not ready, you just roll them over. So he was getting more popularity after Evo, but a lot of the people who picked him up immediately after Evo dropped him. So what ended up happening in my region is that there were pretty much like 2 big Ginyu players by the end of Season 1. There was myself and Double L, and then once I dropped him, it was just pretty much Double L was the Ginyu king of our region. Which moves me to point number 2. As a competitor, the first thing you want to do is set like reasonable goals for yourself, right? So what I like to do personally is like, okay, first I gotta make sure I can get out pools all the time. Then I gotta make sure I can make top whatever, like top 32, top 16, whatever it is. Then make top 8s. Then get top 3. Then close, right? And then once you talk about closing, so you have to consider like locals, regionals, majors, and then from there it's like it gets super hard, right? Because then you have like national level tournaments like CEO or like Evo, which I've never won before, or like international things, of course, like the World Tour, stuff like that. Once you get to like, I've won a major, then there's not that much left, and it's really, really hard to do. But the thing about Dragon Ball specifically is that I was really worried about pools because so many people played, and remember what I said at the beginning, I felt like I didn't really know what I was doing and I had no neutral. So Ginyu did both at the same time. Like he made pools easier for me, which was hard for me originally because people didn't know how to fight him that way. So another thing about Ginyu is that he opened my eyes to the power of a character that can cover knockdowns without assists. So for example, this, right? This was different in Season 1, of course. Now he appears farther away. But the fact that he doesn't have to use his assists for knockdowns makes his combos do more damage in general because you can use assist more. Like to use assist for pressure more freely, and he could just do stuff with his own assists, and you have to hit them to get rid of them. So that was really, really nice compared to what I was doing before. We talk about slide knockdowns a lot on the channel and how like they could be annoying to deal with. Yeah, there's ways to deal with them with assists. So I had Cell before, for example. With Cell, it is quite easy to cover a slide knockdown. So with Cell, basically what you have to do, and what I did before, is you do some type of frame kill and call him, and he covers both techs, and then you could do whatever you want, whatever you had to do to like get your high-low or whatever type of mix-up. But not all characters can do it that way. Sometimes you have to cover the up tech by yourself and let the assist go under you. That's why I did it for like Yamcha or 16. Sometimes you had to attack first and then call the assist. That's what I usually do with horizontal beams. It just depends on what you have. But with Ginyu is one of the characters. There's a few. Gotenks is another one where it doesn't matter. You don't need an assist. You can use the character, the point character itself, and that's actually a really big boon. And finally, his damage is just really high. So at that time, Kid Buu wasn't like super optimized. So this was like the first time I got 2 touches really reliably, and I just really like how streamlined it was. It really, really helped out a lot. In this patch, that Evo patch I should say, and then future patches, remember what I said about him is that they really like buffing his combos. That's all they do is buff his combos, buff his combos, buff his combos. So at this point, if you comboed into that, you could almost always combo into Comets, which is really, 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 really strong. Now you see like pretty much every Ginyu main hitting these combos, but at that time it was pretty rare. And it was definitely super, 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 super helpful. In an age where you couldn't do 4 level 1s anymore, the Comets basically do level 1 damage. So it's like you could spend 3 bars and still get 4 level 1 damage with it. It was really, really nice. Now the downsides though, and this goes into why I dropped him. So first is that he has a ton of bad matchups. Really, really bad matchups. And what it comes from is that he doesn't play normal neutral. So his neutral is like in 2 steps, where another character might be in 1 step. What do I mean by this? So for example, for a standard character, you would do like move plus assist, right? So it could be something as simple as super dash plus assist, or punches plus assist, something like that. The move comes out when you do it, and then you use the assist to cover the angle. Simple. But Ginyu is a little bit different. So Ginyu, especially at that time too, he didn't have the super huge tackles or anything yet. So a lot of his assists were, he needed an assist to protect him while he does what he wants to do. So he needs to do this, and during that time while he's summoning, he is really, really vulnerable. So you need to protect him. So what does this lose to once you realize it? There are a bunch of characters in the game that either have moves that cover a huge spread and are pretty fast that they could just do, or they have like some type of lunging move that they could do, or they have some type of anti-projectile move they could do. For example, Goku Black could just come at you with this. Vegito, of course, has this move, which is goated. Pretty underrated move, actually, to be honest, but I think Vegito players understand how good it is. And then on top of that, these characters all have better normals than you too. You gotta remember, Ginyu is a 5-year-old, he has 5-year-old buttons, really skinny, childlike buttons on top of that. So it's really hard to navigate all these things. So the worst part about him having a bad matchup is usually it's like, it invalidates him. Like he can't do specifically what he wants to do. It's a really hard time. Another thing is that if someone knows the matchup, even if they're not playing a bad matchup, it does make it really hard to play and really stressful, because every time you do one of these calls, you're risking your life quite literally. At this time, he didn't have a level 3 reversal, so once you blocked, you were in trouble. And there was a lot of like really specific like Ginyu only stuff you could do. Like Bardock could do instant IID jump medium and it hit Ginyu specifically. There was a lot of examples of stuff like that he had to deal with that was pretty rough. On top of that, it's really hard for him to get people off you, so you basically have to like look around for super dash at all times, but be scared of their giant normals. And then like they also have like super non-committal stuff they could do to hit your summons. It was just honestly like I was getting gray hairs while I was playing tournaments. It was really rough. It led me to the conclusion long term that he was just an unstable character. So when I picked him up, I was like, this character does have potential, and if he goes the way I hope he goes, then he's a stupid top tier character that like makes the game way easier to play. And he does make the game easier to play up to a certain level, but once you start getting to like deep in the brackets, and you remember I said I like scaling my tournaments out, right? So once you get to like that top 8, it is really hard to win with him. And you see it too, because basically nobody has won an actual major with Ginyu. So you could say like there are people who won like title events with him, which is true, but as far as like big numbers, it's basically nobody. And there are examples, it's very few. So all in all, I ended up with this team at the end of season 1 for the first year's World Tour Finals. This team actually accentuates Ginyu's strengths and weaknesses, so like it makes Ginyu better at what he does, but it also has the same bad matchups for 2 characters, which is pretty rough. So after the World Tour Season 1, I was like, you know what? Dunzo. I'm sorry, Ginyu. You were a friend. You're still a friend, but I just have to try something else once again. Okay, so that's why I dropped Ginyu and picked him up in a pretty short fashion. I played about like 5 or 6 teams with him. I tried a lot of things with him. He's actually a really fun character too, just to play like for fun. For tournaments though, he's super rough, cannot deny. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.